honey is like it is a relationship between one species to another species. Like honeybees are insects and flowers, which are plants. They collect it in their honey stomach and they process it in their honey stomach. They do regurgitation. It is not vomiting. They bring nectar to their mouth and they gulp it back. They keep on doing it. And the other worker bees, which will be around that worker bee, which will be doing regurgitation, they'll be fanning to reduce the moisture. That honey contains all polyphenols, all enzymes, living enzymes.
Which are very medicinal.
Yeah. If you want to take it as a medicine, it should be raw honey.
It should be raw honey.
Yeah. It should be raw honey. In other countries, they conduct workshops for how to taste honey.
Wow. Is there a way?
Yeah, it's a same kind. Say the same way you taste wine and coffee. There is a way to taste honey also.
Beautiful.
Eat biscuit in the middle. Sip water, neutralize, and then you keep on tasting it.
Welcome to the Life Grids conversation. Today, we are going to have a very sweet topic all about honey. And we have Apoorva, the beekeeping expert and bee conservation expert. So there are some simple questions to understanding the policies behind beekeeping and so many things we will be discussing in our segments. So first segment is a favorite segment all about honey, the myths, the consumption. So let's start with very basic. What is honey, Apoorva?
Honey is a first sweet thing the human ever tasted. That is what honey is referred as. Yeah, there were some herbs and some grasses, some plants also, which was sweeter. But honey was more sweeter than whatever he has tasted. So honey is the only edible thing which is made from insects.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, other insects will be eaten. Insects are a staple food for so many civilizations, but they will make food. It is for themselves.
Yeah.
It is for the honeybees, but part of it we have a sustainable practice to take it.
So it is same like the consumption of milk.
We cannot say it is like a milk because grass will be eaten and it will be metabolized and then it goes to bloodstream and then the milk will be produced. But honey is like it is a relationship between one species to another species. Like honeybees are insects and flowers, which are plants. So they go to flowers and they collect the nectar and they store nectar in their special stomach. It's called honey stomach. Worker bees have two stomachs. Okay, see, it's not like many people will assume that they are collecting the same thing and they are vomiting it. They explain in a very different way, but it is not like that. They collect it in their honey stomach and they process it in their honey stomach. They do regurgitation. It is not vomiting. They do regurgitation.
What is that?
They bring nectar to their mouth and they gulp it back. They keep on doing it. And the other worker bees, which will be around that worker bee, which will be doing regurgitation, they'll be fanning to reduce the moisture. Okay. So they do this. They introduce useful enzymes into that honey. So nectar will be converted into honey, and then they deposit it. So it is not like they are consuming it and they are giving it away by something else. They are just doing some transformation in a way. So it is not like milk, but they do the work.
When I said like milk, cows produce milk for their own calves. Similarly, here they do all the work for their own food. But there also we consume it for our benefit, human benefit, and we justify it. Similarly, here also we take the honey and we justify it as part of the food.
In a way, yes, we have a mankind and civilization, and many people are dependent on so many professions. If we say milk, if we say that, all these people who are involved in dairy farming, and in India, we say dairy farming is not industrialized. So many households are dependent on this dairy farming. So when we say that, the if it is like this in this logic, so we also need to provide them an alternative immediately.
Yeah, that's economical thing that
Yeah.
maybe need an alternative solution. So
Yeah.
it is justified and
Yeah.
making. While in a separate segment, we will talk about bees, its anatomy, and it is so many other GPS kind of a magnetic things. We'll talk about that in a segment. In this segment, we'll keep it lighter and very practical. Why are some honey very, very expensive? And why are some very cheap? What is the difference? How, as a consumer, I will know what to buy and what good that honey gives me. If it is expensive, is it so good? If it's so cheaper, does it mean that I can put 2 more spoons to make it better and nutritious?
Well, I can say that, honey in India, it is generalized. You know, so there are different grades of honey.
Okay.
Okay. So for what you are using honey, your application, is it only a sweetener? Are you using it for good metabolism? Are you using it for medicinal intake also? So it depends on that. And availability. When I say availability, again grades. So some honey will be available so much, in a very big scale, and it is handled in a way so that it will be available so easily and to all the nook and corner of the country. And there are some honey where it will be available very little, and the sanctity of the process, how we have handled it, how we have stored it, and how we have filtered it. So that explains a lot. And where it is harvested. Is it harvested in a place where the production process, the beekeeping process is so difficult, so very difficult to reach over there itself?
Okay.
So it will add on to the production cost.
Okay.
And even getting it back to the mainland or getting back to the plains.
The urban city.
Yeah. So, and the supply chain. So it depends on that. When I say grades, I can say that, the sweetener kind of grade, which will be pasteurized more,
Okay.
homogenized more.
What do you mean by have homogenized and pasteurized? Because what we think is there will be a hive and from there they take it and then they bottle it and give it to us. So is there a process that happens in between?
When someone will have to buy honey in bulk scale, in huge volumes, so there they will have to buy from each of these bee farms, and then they will have to get all honey in a big container and homogenize it, because he has one brand and one type of honey,
Okay.
and very good supply chain.
Okay.
So it will be homogenized, and even in homogenizing also he will have a blend plan, how much of this farm honey, how much of that farm honey, to make one taste. So that is why honey will be tasting similar in some brands from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. It is all same.
Okay.
It will not be like that. Okay.
Oh, the real honey will never taste the same.
No.
So it is a formulation. When a particular brand honey we buy 10 years back or today, it tastes the same.
And
Clearly means that it's a formula.
it's a
not
formula.
real honey.
It's a formula. It's a blending formula, and they will maintain that blending formula. because
What do they blend?
they blend different honey varieties from different sources.
Okay.
Okay, so there is an intervention. Okay, there is an intervention which is not natural. So natural honey should be like whatever is in the hive, it should come to my table.
Right. That's the
So
expectation.
yeah, that is all consumers' expectation. So there is an intervention to make homogenization, because there is again a demand from the consumer. Indian consumerism is very tricky. They will accept everything in one product or the diversity, and in another product they will demand the consistency. So because some are many part of the larger part of consumerism expects consistency. Last month I have tasted honey, it was something like this, and this month it is not like that. So the consumers are not appreciating the diversity. Consumers are questioning the diversity.
We were never taught to expect diversity.
Yeah.
I'm representing a layman. See, honey was introduced as just a sweetener, specifically on breads and chapatis. Even for chapatis, jams and other things, and it was there. So honey was not even a mainstream. It was more considered one bottle of honey should be there, and it was some brand honey is what. Suddenly there was a kind of there are so many varieties of honey, and this honey is very so cheap. When you go just buy a bottle of honey, it is so cheap and it is consistent. That is what we were even aware of. But what you're trying to tell us is there are so many diversity and there are so many varieties, and that's why it is expensive. So what as a consumer should I know about honey?
Well, you should know that the source, basically where it is coming from,
I know that there is a brand.
who has handled it. Yeah, brand. Yeah, when many brands are there in supply chain, but still the people who are consuming honey or anything, anything they are consuming, they need to be more serious about it. Where it is coming from, who is doing it, and how it is done. They need to get into some process also. Know the process of how the honey is uh, you know uh, transported from all the way from Himalaya to Karnataka. So who are all the people in the middle who are handling it? It's a supply chain, and people need to know. I'm not saying that every time they have to know. They need to know the process once, the logic once, then they can question it. See, the consumerism should be like more questions.
Okay.
Wow. The questions should be like, it should strike a producer that I will have to be more responsible.
Ideal scenario, yes, but that's not practical also. Today, it is which honey is good or which honey is expensive, we assume that is good.
Yeah.
So, you were telling that there are unifloral and multifloral honey, but when I buy it in a bottle or when I buy it from a brand, an FMCG brand kind of a thing, I don't get to know what it is. Like you said, maybe it is multifloral blend. Is that good enough or should I go for this unifloral?
As I was explaining about homogenization and pasteurization, when a producer or a manufacturer who is packing honey, when he is in a doubtful procurement, I don't know about the moisture level of this farm and that farm. There will be a variation. Depends on practice to practice. So what he does is that when honey is procured, for a safer side they will pasteurize.
Okay.
Because they need to stop fermentation. It is the value of their brand. If there is a fermentation of this batch, then the brand value will go. So fearing of that, they will do the pasteurization. Pasteurization in honey should be within the temperature limit.
What actually happens in pasteurization for honey?
They will kill the yeast cells.
Okay.
Yeast cells will be killed. That is pasteurization in honey. Otherwise, there will be no microbial load in honey.
Okay.
Okay, so because of the higher sugar concentration, no microbe can be active. You can see microbes through microscope, but they will all be dormant. They will not be active.
Okay.
So these yeast cells will start to multiply when there is a higher moisture in honey. If it is more than 21, 22, or more than that, they will become more active and they will start brewing, and they will multiply and they will ferment.
Okay.
So
Is fermenting good or bad for consumption?
um you cannot consume very easily that honey that will be having foul smell.
The fermented one.
Fermented one.
Okay.
Yes, there are people who are making mead now, honey wine.
Honey wine.
Honey wine. So there is a process of inoculating yeast in a particular yeast, then multiplying it and making mead. There is a process, separate process. But whatever happens naturally, it will not be a mead.
Okay.
Okay. It's very difficult to consume also.
So it's always better if the honey is pasteurized.
I will not say that. Pasteurized honey, yes, in a way, but if it is done in a particular temperature. So the temperature should not go beyond 50 degrees Celsius to retain the enzymes in honey and some substance which are very volatile, like polyphenols.
Okay.
Okay, so they are very volatile. If you heat more than 50, 60 or 70, they will be evaporated.
Okay.
So who is taking care of this temperature and how it is made is always a questionable thing. So next grade is the medicinal grade.
Okay.
So it will be kind of an artisanal honey.
Okay.
Okay. So it will be, first we have to wait for the bees to completely cap that honey. The honey will be completely capped. Capping means, so there will be two chambers in the beehive.
Okay.
So the first chamber will be for their own brood, the family. So the next chamber is for the storage of honey.
Oh.
Okay. So we operate only in the super chamber. Okay.
We operate matlab we will take the honey only from that chamber, not from the brooding chamber.
Yeah. So that is supposed to be a good practice ethical practice in beekeeping. Okay. If people are harvesting from the brood chamber itself, then it is not really a good practice.
Does it happen?
It is happening.
Okay. Okay.
And predominantly in Indian honey, it is happening like that. So there is a problem with that also in a field level. Why it can happen in Europe, why it is not happening in India, there is a justification. Okay. So regarding that capping, so in the super, this is a brood chamber and another is a super chamber. So in super chamber, there will be number of frames with combs. So in combs, there will be cells. So complete capping. After they ripen honey, mature honey, they cap it from wax.
Okay.
So when they cap it completely, that means honey is done.
Wow.
So when it is still open, that means honey that contains still sucrose or the nectar in it. So there will be more moisture also.
Okay.
So when we do the mass harvesting and everything, then moisture will come into honey. Whereas even waiting will add on to cost.
Yes.
Okay.
Understood.
You have to wait. You have to be patient. You're waiting where other beekeepers are selling the second batch. Okay. So it will add on to the cost of opportunity. Right. And then you have to wait. You have to harvest neatly with good vessels, clean vessels, where it should not have any moisture. and then you have to filter it in a way where you don't have to heat it also.
Oh.
Okay. So there are certain ways. Everything will add on to time, add on to more patience. So it is having some value. And after that, that honey contains all polyphenols, all enzymes, living enzymes.
Which is
And
very medicinal and
yeah, yeah. If you want to take it as a medicine, it should be raw honey.
it should be raw honey.
Yeah. It should be raw honey. Otherwise, it will be, you are adding sweetener to churna and eating it. Nothing will happen. Because in order to work, that medicine, if it has to work, then it should empower that medicine. So that medicine can be empowered only when there is a living enzymes in honey and polyphenols in honey.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a medical grade honey, and this is a sweetener grade honey.
Oh, so that itself is a
That-
wonderful thing for me to know. There is a sweetener grade honey, there is a artisanal medicinal
Yes.
grade honey. So these unifloral, multifloral comes into the, your artisanal or the medicinal grade.
Oh,
What is unifloral? Is it like how do you control a honey bee saying that go collect it only from this flower? Is it possible practically a unifloral?
well, beekeeping is migratory sometimes.
Okay.
We call it as migratory beekeeping. We migrate our beehives along with colonies to certain places where there will be monoculture sometimes, or even if it is a diverse source, there will be seasons. This is a season for the black plum flowers to blossom, and this is a season for coffee blossom. This is a season for some wild flora, that particular, like Kurinji flowers. So Kurinji flowers will be Kurinji honey will be harvested in a place where there is already a forest. Okay, but predominantly bees will prefer to go and take the nectar of those flowers, which will be in blossom more. And there is a study which says that they have floral fidelity. So until and unless they are collecting from one source, the same kind of source, they keep on visiting the same source again and again. And they have landing rules also. So when they land, it should be worth landing.
Wow.
So when they are going to one direction for the collection of food, so it should be optimum. They if even if there is a small patch of flowers here, they will not go there. They will go to a bigger patch, even if it is little relatively far also, because the relative distance between one flower to another flower will be minimal over there. So only for these flowers they will not visit. But when the sources are depleting there, then they will visit these flowers.
Okay.
Okay. So and also unifloral honey can be tested by looking honey through microscope. You will see more than 50% of pollen of a same source.
Okay.
Then you can declare that as unifloral honey. But people like us who will be having the honey library here,
In your head.
yeah, the taste of so many honey, then when you taste something, you will have to remember also, right? Then you can relate to it later, even after so many years also.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like that wine connoisseur. Same deep
Exactly,
connoisseur.
exactly. So there are certified tasters for wine, coffee, tea, and so many things. I think for honey also, yes.
Do we have such?
We don't have. We need someone
need.
like that. Yeah. How in other countries they conduct workshops for how to taste honey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a way?
Yeah, it's a same kind. Say the same way you taste wine and coffee. There is a way to taste honey also.
Beautiful.
How to neutralize, each
Chipped.
yeah,
And then
and eat biscuit in the middle, sip water, so neutralize, and then you keep on tasting it.
okay. Before even we go deep into much more art of the honey thing, in apartments or in high-rise buildings, we see the hive and how is it getting formed? And people are so scared and it will start a thing. And there is also another thing. There are people, they say, "Card honey tandidine." They cut and bring that entire thing, and then from there they squeeze it and put it in bottle. They'll say, "Bring any bottle, we'll squeeze it, and 1 kg is 100 rupees, 60 rupees," kind of a thing. Can you explain that part of honey taking?
See, there are 20,000 bee species in the world, 20,000 plus. Okay.
20,000 varieties?
Bee species.
Bee species.
Bee species. Okay.
Okay.
So, very few are social bees. Many most of it are solitary bees.
Okay.
Solitary bees will not collect honey. Okay, they live solitary life, so that is why they are known as solitary bees.
Okay.
They congregate only when there is a time for mating, and otherwise they are
They do nothing?
they pollinate for sure, and they collect pollen, most of it pollen, and they have their own ways of making nests. Some will do the boring of wood, fallen trees also. So many are nesting in the ground.
Bees rest in the ground?
Yeah, they nest in the ground.
Okay.
So they are known as ground nesting bees.
Okay. Okay.
So if you have planted, you will see a burrow, and they will be coming and going. So those are bees. Those are solitary bees.
Solitary bees.
Okay. So when it comes to social bees, we have in India, we have 5 species of social bees.
Okay. Okay.
One is rock bees, which you are referring, where they are making big beehives in building, and another is a dwarf bee, which looks, the nesting behavior looks similar to the rock bees, but they will not be so very high. They will make their nests in hedges and fences and small trees and shrubs.
Okay.
And there is a cavity nesting bee called Apis cerana indica. So they make their nests inside cavities.
Okay.
They will not be seen outside. They will be in hiding, and they make several combs, parallel combs inside. Okay, there will be 7, 8, 9, depending on the cavity inside and food available outside. They will make their size of hive. So the last one, the next one is stingless bees.
Stingless bees.
Stingless bees. There are bees where they do not have stings.
Okay, so we do not have to be scared of them, but we will not know which is a stingless.
Yes, well, it is visible because they are very so tiny, very very tiny.
Okay.
You get these eye knots in mango season, so little bigger than them.
Okay.
Very tiny. Okay, so these stingless bees in subspecies, we have found estimated like 27 species of subspecies of stingless bees. Okay. And another species where we have found very recently is that Apis antennoformis. We initially thought that it is a subspecies of dwarf bees, but they are a different species. Okay, so rock bees and dwarf bees cannot be domesticated. Okay, we cannot put them in the hive and we cannot domesticate.
Meaning you cannot farm it, or you cannot beekeep it.
Yeah, we cannot beekeep it.
They keep us, we don't keep them.
Yeah. They are free. They are wild. They can do anything, and they can come and build their big hive or nest in front of MLA or MP's home also. No, they are free. Okay. It's like that. Okay. So rock bees, the name signifies that they are used to build their nests in the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
In the top of it. Okay. So why they are making in the higher elevation is because they want to be free from all the problems.
Wow.
Okay. They want to be away from all the predators, attacks, and disturbances. So that's why they are so far. They are so high.
Okay.
Okay. But for them, it is all jungle. It is all forest.
So they see our homes and apartments and buildings
As forest.
forest.
Okay.
Okay.
So they have come
Mm.
and they have built it.
Mm.
But they don't know that in the 25th floor also there is a apex predator living.
For them, predators are human?
Anything, sometimes sloth bears,
Okay.
sometimes hornets also.
Okay.
So there are different,
But in cities?
in cities, they will not identify anything like city or forest. For them it is all forest. However, their behavior changes when they come to urban space. So they will see you, your children, your pets, and the vehicle going around, the vibrations, smell. We will be cooking, we will be washing, we will be spraying. So all these smells will not be there in the forest.
Right.
Right? All these vibrations will not be in the forest. All these colors will not be in the forest.
Okay.
So after seeing all these things, they will understand. They will understand. They will learn that these things are not threatening to us.
Okay.
Then they will grow bigger. They will build the comb. They will secrete wax. They will secrete wax from their abdomen, and they build their comb. They will get bigger. Then humans will panic because it is growing big.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is known as bee-human conflict.
Okay.
It's like man-animal conflict. It is bee-human conflict.
So if a bee has decided to build a hive there, it means that it felt safe.
Yes.
So that place, today they also say if there is a hive, then it is a very good thing. It's an auspicious thing. So is it somewhere closer because it's a good vibe they have sensed?
I have seen the two faces of this. One is, yes, some people will say it is a good omen. And, since the hive is there in this particular direction of Vastu, so they will say that this is good for me. And sometimes it will be bad also because it is not supposed to build in this direction of the home. So then they will call and they will say, take it away, because someone in my native has suggested that it should not be there. So these things will be there in
When is it safe to remove it? Because after some time, like you said, the panic definitely hits because we never know because of the heavy and the honey collected when it is going to burst and when it is going to come. So when is it safe to call someone to remove it?
I will say you really don't need to remove them because they are migratory, as I told you.
Okay.
They are staying there for one season. Okay. Very rarely we have seen them staying even after 10 months also.
Okay.
But in general, it will be only 3 to 4 months.
So then the hive will be empty
Hive will be empty.
and the honey is all ours.
No, they will take honey.
Oh,
Yeah, they will take honey, they will move.
okay.
Okay. So that honey stomach will be used for this also. So they will gulp all the honey, whatever will be stored. So their other parts will be pushed to the inner wall. Honey will be in the major storage and they will fly. They require energy to fly.
Sounds
Right.
magical.
So this honey is like a fuel for them.
Okay.
So this honey will be converted for energy to fly, number one. Number two, when they find a new nesting site, they will have to build the wax comb also. So 8 kilos of honey will have to be consumed to make 1 kilo of wax. So that is the exchange.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So that kind of energy will be required. So only by honey they can make it. So sometimes we can see that a swarm they have come, they have settled somewhere, and after 2 to 3 days they have moved also. We have seen many instances. That means they are moving.
Okay. Okay.
They are moving towards north or some place where rainfall will be lesser and flowers will be available for them. So that means pollinators are limited.
Okay.
Okay, that means pollinators are limited. So that's why they move to and fro like elephants. At one point of year, they will be in one direction and they will come back.
Okay.
So Mother Nature summons them whenever there is a requirement of pollination. You come here, do pollination, and go there, do pollination. So there is a to and fro.
Balance is maintained.
Yeah, balance is maintained. But we are afraid of the bees.
Yes.
Um, I
Speak about the bee, how in the other segment. How about the honey which is being squeezed out of these hives? Is it safe for people to just collect it directly from these people who look like they come from the forest, or anybody who has just cut that hive from your apartment? Because there are people who cut it from your buildings, and then even under the building they just squeeze it in front of your eyes, and people feel so happy to, yeah, this is the honey. How safe is it?
You can buy that honey provided if you have seen all the process
Okay.
from point 1 to point 10. I mean A to Z. You need to be there. Okay, they will make you to fear more. They will shout, they will do all sort of drama to stay inside, don't come outside. So all these things, and they will knock and they will say, we are harvesting honey, stay inside. So it's a double purpose. They will be doing marketing and they will be doing creating that fear to stay and not to, you should not be there to see what they are doing.
Okay.
See, they first they will come in one or two,
Yes.
and their auto will be there outside society. If there is an apartment society, their auto will be outside. So soon after they find all these hives, they will start to climb, and they will inform security that we need some material which will be in auto. So you need to get auto inside. So you need to understand these things. In auto there will be some vessels filled with already their honey, not the bees honey, their honey. Okay, so if security checks that what are all the vessels which are coming inside the society campus, identify that and keep those vessels away. Okay, let the auto come inside. Let him if really necessary. I don't really suggest to remove hive, but if it is really necessary, posing threat, showing aggressiveness, then only you will have to address it. Otherwise, just leave it for 3 to 4 months. They will move.
They'll move.
They will migrate. Okay.
So what will remain? Nothing.
Wax will, the empty comb will be remaining. You can take out the empty comb and you can make wax out of it.
Okay.
You can make lip balm, body butter, hair
From that
cream.
emptiness.
Yes. You can do it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this will have to be checked. Okay. Because it's a scam.
So let's say if the hive was this big, how much honey? Because this one, which I have seen in a society near me, there nearly 40 to 50 homes got their bottles filled. Is it possible from 2 or 3 big hives?
No.
No?
Not possible. And let me tell you, even if the hive is so big, like 4 feet or 5 feet also, honey will be stored only in particular season.
Oh,
Okay. Only in a particular season, honey will be stored,
okay.
not in all season. Okay. So these guys, self-styled guys, they will come touch any beehive. They will take out 30 to 40 kilos, which is impossible. Not possible.
Okay.
So after being with bees, from past 18 years, I can tell you that bees can collect honey only in few seasons, between November and December, and April and May.
Okay.
There will be some storage in all generally in all those beehives. Even when you harvest, see, I can say that in place like Bangalore, if it is 3 feet big, you may harvest like 5 to 6 kilos maximum.
That is all?
Yeah, per beehive.
Okay.
if all beehives are that big.
Okay.
If it is smaller and if he is trying to remove it in off season or in the beginning of season, there will be no honey.
Oh,
Okay. There will be no honey. So that's why I have told you, if you have witnessed from the starting to the ending without leaving any magic, stunts or tricks, then you can buy. Otherwise, don't buy.
So, what actually happens if they're able to supply to 40 houses, 40, 50 houses? Clearly, their honey has been mixed in a very smart and clever way.
Yeah.
And we are.
It's a magic trick, they try, it's all their training.
Okay.
So they try many ways to fool you or distract you. Their auto will be coming here and there. They keep on going to make your vision to miss out, and it's a magic trick. So you have to someone will have to be there. But what they do is, I have seen that because I have experienced in this.
This. Okay.
So once they did something like this, I wanted to see everything. I stood there. So another person got little bit of courage because I was standing there. So he went a little nearer. He intentionally disturbed the hive. So they started to sting everyone. So then even I stood there because I knew bees. I knew the bees that if I stand still, they will not be attacking me. So I was standing in a particular distance. Then he told that, bees are angry now. I think the queen bee has left. We will come back after when the queen bee is back. Then they never came back. Okay. So these things are happening. Why? Because people are unaware of how beehive works.
Yeah, we are just scared. It will come and sting.
Yeah.
Safety of children and safety of.
Yes.
How do we get rid of?
And there is a title also, poor tribal. Uh, uh, that is their only way of livelihood.
Yes.
Let us help him.
Yes.
So they will make use of this.
Yeah. That empathy that we have and sympathy we have has been.
Yeah. So
handled well.
I'm not saying that all are like this.
But we need to be careful.
Yeah. We just have to be careful.
So, few questions that has come from our community. Is honey healthier than sugar?
Definitely healthier than table sugar.
Table.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely healthier.
Okay. Is crystallized honey pure?
Yeah. The crystallized honey is definitely pure. And I have seen crystallization in different textures also.
Okay.
So some honey will be so hard, like sunflower honey. It will be like so hard. Like
You need to break.
Yeah, you have to break it. Even the spoon will not go inside. So it will be so hard.
Because they generally, when it is crystallized, we think, oh, the manufacturer has put sugar and we have been cheated. So it's not.
That's not like that. See, mustard honey in India, that is the type of honey where India is producing more. And you will not see mustard honey in any supply chain in domestic market.
Why so?
Because it looks like a cow ghee.
Really?
It looks like cream. Yeah, that is the kind of honey where India is producing more. But none of our domestic players are buying that honey because they think, they are fearful that their brand will be at stake if we supply that honey to our domestic market, because we think in that way, honey should be like this,
Like golden, thick,
Yeah.
viscous liquid, which
Exactly.
is when you do abhishekam or when you put a little on your bread or anything, it should glow like gold.
Yeah.
That's what we've been
Yeah.
taught.
So that is how it is being thought. I think it is thought by it is taught by again supply chain.
The marketing of brands.
Yeah, again supply chain. So they have roles and responsibility to break this also. See, the mustard honey is exported. So it doesn't mean that beekeepers are getting more money, because there is a bottleneck. Only few are aggregators. Whatever money, whatever price they will have to say, beekeepers will have to give it. So it is exported more, and US is our major buyer
For mustard.
honey,
Okay.
and they buy a lot.
Okay.
84% of their, I read somewhere, 84% of their personal consumption, I mean the US consumption goes is mustard honey, which is going from India.
Okay. How do we test if the honey I buy is pure?
It's very
Because in Instagram and in lot of things they show 100 varieties. You just drop it, it just has to sink, or sometimes it needs to float. And they say when you put a drop in the plate and add water and you keep rolling it, it creates a hive pattern. Is this all true?
It's not very that simple, because it used to be this simple when even adulteration was simple. Okay. So adulteration was simple. They were only adding jaggery. They were only adding the sugar syrup of the same consistency of honey, and this one they were blending it, and some molasses, some other sugar like fructose, something like that. But now the substance is high fructose corn syrup or rice syrup, which will go through hydrolysis, chemical hydrolysis, which will resemble honey.
So hive will form even if it is an adulterated thing.
So it is not very easy with honey. So that's why it is sent to German labs
Okay.
from India, and it will be tested over there, and then only we get the.
Why should we send it to her German lab? Why don't we have a lab, India lab?
We have started to
Have such
build
facilities.
such facilities, but the testing, whatever we have experienced, this the same sample which was given to the German lab and the Indian lab, there is a variation. Okay, the reports are very variable. So I think somehow in few years we may get that kind of a competence, skills to get to.
Okay, then for a layman, we are kind of wrapping up this segment. How do I know and what do I buy the best honey?
I think honey is very easy to buy in a way, because honey will not go bad so easily.
Okay. Okay.
Until and unless we add moisture
Okay.
into honey, honey will not go bad.
Okay.
So you need to finalize one place where you can get raw honey in front of your eyes, and you get honey for the whole year at once.
Okay. Oh, during these seasons.
Yes,
Okay.
we get honey for the whole year at once. It will help the farmer also, because he's harvesting it and he's packing everything for you, and there is no transportation in the middle, packing, no plastic consumption. So all those things will be broken, and honey will not go bad also. You can store it, keep on consuming it. That is the best way.
Okay, you being from this in the last 18 years, where are the places in your day-to-day life you use honey?
I use honey with chapati, idli, dosa, with everything almost. And my son consumes very good quantity of honey for sure.
Is it safe to consume just like that every day, 1 spoon?
Yeah, 1 to 2 spoon is advisable for everyone, and it is advisable. And see, when I say 1 to 2 spoon, the whole sweet of the day, it should be planned such way. Okay, so it should not be like I have eaten jalebi and I have eaten feda and everything, and then I'm eating honey.
2 spoons.
So it's not like that.
It's
So for someone, it was referred that you have to eat only half chapati, and So he was saying that, is it before food or after food?
Afterward, yeah.
So it should not become for the same for honey also. Yeah.
Next question is darker honey better than lighter honey?
I don't think so, but when it comes to antioxidants, so we refer antioxidants for more darker vegetables, fruits, and so that is why it has come to like that. I think any raw honey which is coming from diverse source, it is very good.
Okay.
Like the heart of Western Ghats. If you have honey from heart of Western Ghats, I think that will be the superior honey.
Okay.
Even unifloral honey is very good, like ajwain honey and jamun honey. Jamun honey we have some North India and also from South Indian. South Indian jamun honey, which is coming from Western Ghats again, it is very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good for health
Health,
benefits.
yeah.
Generally people use honey for weight management. If you put it in hot water and drink in the night, or milk, with milk, you can gain weight. In the morning, with lemon and honey, the empty stomach, you will lose weight. In your 18 years experience, how much have you seen it true? Does honey have that metabolic
Yeah.
benefits?
Yes, for weight loss. I really don't know about the weight gain.
Okay.
Yes, for weight loss, because it helps in metabolism
Okay.
and appetite. I have experienced myself, when we harvest honey. So the comb honey is a delicacy, the eating along with comb.
Okay.
In the super chamber, it is full of honey. So when you eat it, all the flavor of raw honey you can sense. Okay, so when you eat this raw honey, you will have that energy because honey is very less in glycemic index. It cannot be compared with the table sugar. It is less in glycemic index. So you will have that energy, but still you will feel some appetite, the hunger also at the same time. But it will not be like craving. You can maintain that. When we go for harvesting honey, what we do is 1 liter of water, and whatever honey will be available, we will put it inside. Keep on drinking that water, and throughout the day there will be energy.
Without any other extra food, this
Nothing.
suffices.
Yes.
Wow, interesting. Is there something called mad honey?
Yeah, there is a mad honey. So rhododendron is a shrub.
As a flower.
Yeah, it's a shrub flower which blossoms in the I think in the Himalayan range, in Nepal and even in Himachal and those ranges.
Okay.
So there is a cousin of rock bee, which is known as Apis laboriosa.
It's nice to hear. Cousin of rock
Yeah,
honey. Rock bee.
Rock bee, yeah, rock bee. So it's called Apis laboriosa.
Okay.
So they make their hives, huge hives, in those cliffs. So there is a particular tribe in Nepal.
Okay.
They climb. They have a way to climb. They first worship, they pray, and then they climb, and they bring this honey. So this honey contains a particular component inside it because of the rhododendron nectar. So when we consume it, it intoxicates.
Oh, so you
Yeah,
it gives a high like an alcohol, or even there is a possibility you can go mad?
yeah, not mad. Yes, intoxication will be higher also.
Just a honey can do that.
Yeah.
And does the world know about it?
Yeah, they know.
How is the demand for that mad honey?
It's very high demand. Demand is very high.
How do one look for it and buy it?
I think it is available online. I don't know if how it is being verified, how it is done like that. But it is in demand. It is also known as red honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Does honey cause allergies?
if someone is allergic to pollen, a particular pollen, if this honey is made out of those visiting those flowers which will be having the allergic reaction to that particular pollen.
One.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a blanket statement that I am allergic to honey.
No,
That cannot happen.
see, I may be allergic to Parthenium pollen,
Okay.
and you may be allergic to some other pollen. Okay. So if I am walking through the other flora, I will not be allergic, right? So in the same way, in honey there will be pollen.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're consuming that honey, you'll be consuming pollen also. Okay. So that's why there are some people who buy honey which is harvested locally. Okay. So the people in Fraser Town were asking, do you have honey which is harvested in Fraser Town? So we cannot have a bee farm in Fraser Town, but still, if it is within the radius of say 40 to 50 kilometers, so the flora will be almost same.
Okay.
So I have been giving them this honey. I collect it in the outskirts of Bangalore. My farm is just around 23-25 kilometers from here.
Okay.
So I give that honey along with comb. It's a premium value, of course. So they say because pollen will be present in honey in a very small quantity, so it kinds of it sort of programs your antibodies slowly.
Oh, okay.
So that is how that local honey. See, you have market for each and everything.
Everything. Yes.
Not necessarily that you have to give value for honey. You necessarily have to bring all the way from Himalaya.
You also can get it locally, well harvested. Should we refrigerate honey or not needed at all?
It is not required. It is not required to refrigerate honey.
Okay.
Okay. If you have to maintain that creamy consistency of mustard honey, the similar kind of, then
crystallized.
yeah, crystallized but creamy. So it is very it's very fun and also easy to spread. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to maintain that consistency, then you keep it in refrigerator, or otherwise refrigeration is not required.
A real honey, pure honey, never needs refrigeration. It remains the same, however used to.
Yes.
Which container is good to store honey?
Glass is always preferred.
Not the
Glass.
plastic ones, the squeeze.
Plastic squeezy only for logistics. You are using only for because it drizzles and it will get sticky from all the on top of all the surfaces. I think glass would be better.
The better. Okay. Diabetics and honey. What are your thoughts on it, and what have you observed in these years?
See, diabetics I have seen when they are asked, they will say put little sugar. Okay, they will every time they will say okay, put little sugar. So those little things, whatever they want to add, let them add honey. Okay. So it should be regulated and also controlled, checked, verified.
You're saying if that sheet sugar also, that little sheet,
Yeah.
use honey instead, which will be beneficial.
But honey should not be added to the hot beverages.
Okay.
Because as I told you, honey contains volatile substance, polyphenols, and also enzymes.
Oh.
So diastase and invertase, there are two enzymes which we know. So we can check the enzymatic action in honey also. Okay. So if you add it to very hot beverage, enzymes will be killed.
So there's no point.
There is no point in consuming honey for
Will it
medicine.
harm me?
There is another thing, it's called hydroxymethyl furfural, which is a kind of a phytochemical reaction or physicochemical reaction. So because of the more temperature, some changes will happen in honey, some changes. So HMF will double sometimes. So the permissible value right now is 80 mg per kg. If it raises, then the sign says that it is inedible. However, dorsata honey, that rock bee honey, it will always be exposed to the sun and it will be hot. And that honey is more of HMF. Okay. But still it is edible. So some checks, in science also there are some gaps. So we need to check it.
Okay. So, but a fundamental thing, avoid it with
Oh,
hot beverages or even hot water.
Yeah.
It's
Lukewarm is fine.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, this was a very interesting segment where we know the basics of honey. Next segment is something very interesting where we will also know about Manuka honey, which is the world famous, and also we will get to know the various varieties of bees and their anatomy and their special abilities and why we have to be dependent on bee and bees community. We will discuss that in our next segment. Thank you so much for this valuable session. Thank you.